You obviously have a reason for saying that.
Yeah, because it's like you guys just keep coming every fucking week. Like one.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm tired.
Yeah, the cut to the chase. The cut to the chase version is you want to buy anything, right? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, man? Hey, we got a bunch of door-to-door salesmen right here. I love to see this, and super grateful to be here with you guys today. See a lot of familiar faces, see a lot of new faces. I love to see that. How many of you guys have been in door-to-door sales for under 1 year? Okay, wow, so a good amount of portion of you guys. How many guys have spent more than 5 years doing door-to-door? All right, so we got a few veterans in here. How about anybody over 10 years? 15 years? 16? All right, I'm 17. How many of you guys are under 21 years old in this room? Okay, anybody under 19? How old are you, brother? 18 years old. Shit, this kid was 1 year old when I started becoming a professional trick-or-treater. So it's crazy to think about. And, I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude to be with you guys here today. I think the last time I was in this office, the office was probably maybe like 1/3, 1/4 of the amount of people that you guys have in this room. And really the goal of what we go over today is really to help you think differently and understand the opportunity that's sitting right in front of your face. You guys have a professional contract sitting right in front of you. And the crazy thing to think about is dentists, doctors, lawyers, athletes spend decades to be able to gain that piece of paper where they sign their professional contract. See, the thing with door-to-door salesmen, the thing with sales professionals is the sales professional out-earns all the other professions if you combine all of them. But the salesman is not willing to do one thing that those other professionals are willing to do. And that's that willingness to actually pay the price. To pay the price with effort, time investment, dedicated sacrifice, the effort that you put into this. You see, the more that you train, the more that you know that you need to train. The more that you learn, the more that you know that you need to learn. Because as you get better, it's literally a way to earn more income. I break down success as the continuous journey towards the achievements of predetermined worthwhile goals. You guys are on a continuous journey. Your life is like a stock. You get better or worse. And throughout that time, if you can visualize what you really want to accomplish and you start to verbalize it and you can see it, then you can achieve it. You see, I had a 1.8 GPA in high school. I was a golf caddy. Did anybody ever golf caddy in here? Carrying the golf bags around? See, that was what I did, and I watched my parents struggle. They got down to their last $20. For me, have you guys ever heard of like what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Right? I think that's a stupid question. I think it should be who's your who. Get more granular about it on like, who are you actually doing this for? 99% of people cannot do what we do because 99% of people cannot even handle it. Well, guess what? Rejection turns me on. I love hostile people. I want you to completely start changing the way that you think. And it starts with this. You do not get paid for the amount of sales that you get. I want you to shift your mindset to this. I do this out of a goodwill to help people. That's why I do this. I'm doing this because I know I can put you into a better situation. I know that I can serve you. What you get paid for is the no's. You get paid for the rejection. But when you actually go and say, dude, I know I'm going to wake up today and like genuinely help somebody. I'm going to create a relationship. There's people that open up Burger King and McDonald's franchises. You guys are opening up franchises for the next 25 years. Junior, how many solar installations do you have in your 10-year career?
Over 600.
So he's got 600 franchises set up that when his kids get older, you're going to be like, Daddy did that one, Daddy did that one, Daddy did that one. You have the ability to create your own wealth with this opportunity. When I was 18 years old, I heard an audiobook that said, decisions will decide your wealth. And the whole goal on today's training, like I mentioned, is to help you think differently. I had a 1.8 GPA in high school. I learned about protons and neutrons and like the periodic table. I'm like, bro, what's the answer to number 6? Right? Because I knew I would never need that kind of stuff in my life. But it's time that you guys stop checking your Facebooks and start facing your checkbooks, because this is the year you're going to make it. This year we're going to put your last name on your back and say, hey, I'm going to go prove it to you. Right? Because there's a lot of people that have doubted Me. There's probably people that have doubted you along your journey. And they said, you can't do it. Well, there's a chance that you can say, you know what? I'm going to go out and prove it. I'm going to put my last name on my back and I'm going to show you what I can do. You see, I tie my success to the effort and the input. Right? I always say, hey, maybe it's because I'm Irish and I keep getting lucky. And every person that I go to every day, every market that I go to, I'm able to get dropped off in any neighborhood and produce. But it's because of that willingness to pay the price for 17 years as a professional trick-or-treater. This is a game that I play. I've never worked a day in my life. And when you can treat this like a game, that's when it's going to become automatic. Maintaining anything in life will eventually become exhausting. Building is energizing. What is the secret in building? You have to have fun. This sounds like the most basic piece of advice, but it could be the most important thing that I say to you guys. If you are not having fun, this is not worth it. You need to figure out a way to make this a game. One of my students did 383 installs in a year, and somebody asked them, they said, how do you live with such imbalance? Like knocking 353 out of the 365 days of the year, working 7 days a week? He said, bro, me not working would be imbalanced. When I was a kid, I used to love to play video games, and I used to always think, how could I be the player in the video game? And this is how I found it. This is called Operation Go-Go Gadget Bank Account when you get really good at this. We break it down to 3 specifics: your technique, your attitude, and your behavior. The technique is the words that come out of your mouth. If your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. Your attitude is what you program up here, the most powerful computer that there is. And then your behavior is what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. See, if you commit to a number, if you say, hey, in April I'm going to do 20 sales, that's what my goal is. That's a terrible goal. You're managing history. What you need to do, if you really are in this room and say, dude, I want to put millions of dollars into my bank account. I want to be able to give my family whatever they want, is you need to start committing to the activity, and the result follows. I'm going to give you an example. Affirmation without discipline is delusion. If you say, hey, I'm going to be in the field every day this week at 12 o'clock, and you show up to the field at 12:03, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. You have to actually, to be terrific, we must be specific. To be terrific, we must be specific. When we talk about attitude, there's going to be people that come through your life that will either inspire you or they'll drain you. You have to put your energy where you have influence. When you put your energy outside of where you have influence, what you're going to do is you're going to wear yourself out. You see, this is just a game. The things that we think create the words that come out of our mouth. It creates an emotion. It creates a feeling. You start judging yourself, your product, your service, your company, and that judgment leads to the decision. And that's all that sales is. The psychology of yes starts with you. You are the product and the service. Enthusiasm is 51% of the entire sales process. The energy and the enthusiasm that you take. And then service. We should have never, ever, ever, ever been called salespeople at the beginning. If I ask somebody, if I go into the supermarket and I say, what do you think of a salesperson? What's somebody going to say?
Snobby.
What are they going to say?
Snobby.
Snobby. What else?
Pushy.
Pushy. What else?
Sleazy.
Sleazy, right? So what if I went down that same aisle and I was like, hey, bro, what do you think of door-to-door salesmen? Right? They're going to think all these things. But that's the thing, is we aren't in the business of selling, we're in the business of serving. You're in the business of helping people. You're in the business of putting people into better situations. Sales broken down to the ridiculous is not what I say, it's not how I say it, it's how I can make them feel. That's called communication. The other opposite is the persuasion. People think persuasion's a bad thing. Persuasion is asking the right questions to solve people's problems. You see, if I was to give you the easiest way for me to explain the way that I sell and the way that I serve and go through my sales process, I'm going like this the entire time. What that is I'm weaving. I'm weaving in and out, right? I'm like a boxer, in and out, in and out, in and out. And what I do is I communicate and I persuade. I talk to them about the Oakland Athletics for 3 minutes in their car, and then the next thing I say is like I said, and then we're talking about solar. You know, when you are too robotic and you're just talking about solar, they're not going to empathize with you and see that you're a real human being. So the training for you guys is here today. It's catered to you guys. I could go in 14 different directions. Now, I don't have any sort of planned training because it's all a reflex at this point. Who likes boxing in this room? Okay, who's their favorite boxer? Pacquiao. I heard Pacquiao first. Who said that? Okay, Pacquiao. Tell me this. If Pacquiao walks into a ring, you think he has to think when a punch gets thrown at him, or what does he have? He has a professional reaction or a reflex. But what happens if Pacquiao has to think before the punch is thrown? He can get knocked out. While we're on the subject of boxing, how does a boxer typically get a knockout? Combinations. You see, one single close will never rarely get you the close. It's multiple closes and multiple yeses, a series of sales that will create the decision otherwise known as closing. How many of you guys have ever heard of who Tom Hopkins is? Okay, how many of you guys have actually read the book, How to Master the Art of Selling? Okay, this is the Bible of sales right here, How to Master the Art of Selling. But Tom Hopkins was taught by an individual named J. Douglas Edwards. J. Douglas Edwards is known as the father of modern-day selling. J. Douglas Edwards says the reason there's so much mediocrity, the reason there's so many peons in the business of selling is because people only know one or two ways to close a sale, one or two ways to transition, one or two ways to be able to gain the yes. And that's why when you have a bag, when you have multiple different ways to handle different objections, I don't necessarily need to use them every single time, but I have them in my bag. You see, I could have all the one-liners in the world, I could have everything studied, but if it doesn't come across as you, then it's like a girl or a guy that throws on 14 sprays of perfume or 14 sprays of cologne. It's like, obviously you're wearing cologne, right? It's too much. You guys following my analogy here? But if you don't have any cologne at all, or you don't have any perfume and you're like everybody else, you're not going to stand out from the crowd. If you sound like every other door-to-door salesman that's knocked at their house or every other person that's tried to explain them solar, they will tend not to listen to you. People will react to your range, your volume, your pace, and your diction, even when they don't understand the words. So like it is serious. We're not trying to come down on anybody. However, it is important. Or here's the deal, Mary. Obviously, if we can keep this, between me, you, and the lampshade, it's going to be a little bit different, right? So I'm using my voice. I'm using my pace. I'm using my diction, which is the way that I pronunciate my words. Like I said, enthusiasm is 51% of the sale, right? There's introverts, there's extroverts. There might be some of you guys that will actually need to train to use your voice and actually come across as somebody that is communicating and persuading at the same time and blending those opposites. Now, there's one objection that you guys face as sales professionals. Who knows what that is? Trust. The only objection you face is trust. It's like having a cell phone with no service. All you can really do is play games. I'm not here to play games, sir. How much of what I said do you actually believe? Right? Having one-liners for all different sort of situations. So if I was able to gain somebody, because no matter what line I have, no matter how cool my slicks are, no matter how cool my story is, no matter how much I can create the pain to create the change, if I have somebody's 100% trust, does that mean they're going to do business with me? If they like me and they trust me, does that mean they're going to do business with me? What else do I need to earn? I need to earn their respect, okay? You earn their trust, but you also earn their respect because the way that somebody perceives you as the professional is so important. A lot of young guys in this room, I'm 34 years old. I'm the old guy in the room a lot of the time now. But I was always the young 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. What I'm doing is like a little bit different. Perception on how they perceive you is so important to gaining somebody's business. Oh, he looks the part, sounds the part. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, right? The buyer is going to look for every excuse to tell us no. I'm going to look for every excuse to tell them yes. How would you guys define an objection?
Lack of trust.
Okay, an objection broken down to the ridiculous, this is going to make you totally think different. An objection is a tactic used by the buyer to stall or prolong the final decision. The same way I have technique, the same way I have tactics, they do too. Somebody's going to win. Their belief is stronger than mine, or my belief is stronger than theirs. They're transitioning me back onto the street, or I'm transitioning into the home. One of my most powerful lines is, if I go through this process with you, you would do it. 1,000% you would do it. It's just the hardest part of my job is timing. I'm just looking for the time when we both have it. Like I mentioned, I was the one that put together the report for this location. The whole backside of the house just gets absolutely crucified with sun. And when I was able to look at the report and put it all together, I used a lot less panels to actually put together the design. I don't need to know like your heart attack bill in the summer, but ballpark, roughly, what do you guys spend a month for the power? Because all I'm going to do is show you two things, exactly where the panels are laid out and what your bill would have been last month. I don't know if there's like a small corner of a table where I can kind of put my stuff down. I'll have the last 4% of the design back in about 3 minutes. It's already about 96% of the way complete. And I'll just kind of show you what that looks like. Do you need me to take off my shoes? And then I transition into the home. Trust and respect. Communication and persuasion. Aggressive and kind. Assertive and nice. Egotistically humble. These are all opposites that I'm blending to create the decision. A lot of people think ego is a bad thing. You've heard bad ego. You have an ego. Muhammad Ali says, bro, I'm humble at home, but I'm not humble in the ring, because humble people rarely get places. There's two types of ego. Ego drive, ego destruct. Salesmen are some of the most competitive creatures that there are. We face rejection every single day, right? Why does the lion strut in front of all the females, right? They strut, right? They want to show off. Ego drive is you selling yourself on selling. Ego drive is selling yourself on yourself. A salesman is first off a man that can sell himself to himself, or a woman that can sell herself to herself. But there's also something called ego destruct. Fuck, I didn't get that sale. Oh, bro, I'm not good at this. Somebody else already talked to them. Oh, bro, I'm tired. No one's answering their door. Right? This is called ego destruct. J. Douglas Edwards says the number one reason for mediocrity in men or women back in the 1970s was their spouse. It's that they weren't on the same page with their support system. That they'd go out and try to crush it at work, and they'd come home and they get beat down. Why are you home so late? This and that. It might not be your wife, your husband. It might be your brother, your sister, your mama, your dad. You all have some sort of support system. You all have some sort of why you're doing this, who you're doing it for. And if you can get in front of that person and you can sit them down and you say, hey, maybe it's your mom, and say, Mom, I want to have a serious conversation with you. Can we sit down? And you sit down with her and you say, hey, I want to verbalize this with you right now. This is the year we're going to make it. This year I'm going to put our last name on our back. And this is the year where I'm going to set ourselves up for decades. Starting from the bottom is not a deficit, guys. It's a gift. You have an opportunity right in front of you to literally create your own income, to put yourself so far ahead of all these other individuals, to set yourself up for decades. It's temporary imbalance. It's dedicated sacrifice. It's effort. It's time investment. I can't make that decision for you. Junior can't make that decision for you. But like I told you, if you commit to the activity, you commit now and you figure it out later. Risk is the down payment for success. See, a lot of people are suffering from self-doubt. They doubt themselves. While others are sitting there intimidated by your full potential and what you can become. Guys, this isn't a motivation. This is me being real with you, like talking to you like if you were my younger brothers and my younger sisters. People have told me to get a real job. Right? I just tell them, you want to compare bank accounts? You guys saw that on that video? He's like, bro, how's your 401k look? I'm like, dude, it looks pretty good. You actually want to compare? And he starts putting his tail behind his leg, and I was like, no, come on. You said you want to compare. I'm a professional trick-or-treater, brother. You know, I do things a little bit different. Clarity is where it starts. The clarity that you have within your process will create the conviction. The top sales professionals, they shine with conviction. They have an absolute catching belief about themselves, their product, their service. They believe the utility company is corrupt. They believe it would be ridiculous for somebody to throw away their money into a trash can. Like Judy was a little dramatic, but she told me she was basically just giving the utility company gratuity every month. It's like tipping a waiter or waitress, but they would just continue to nickel and dime her, and she never had that second option. I have so many different one-liners that I can use in different situations, but what makes me a little bit different is I'm not a sales trainer that sits behind the desk that just talks about selling and talks about theory. That's like a dying breed these days of people that can actually go prove what they do. And the difference with me is I'm always getting better. I'm always innovative and creative. I'm always watching my own footage. You all have voice recorders on your cell phone. Most of you probably have never even heard yourself on the doors, but voice recording yourself on the doors and listening to the audio when you go home and breaking it down to the ridiculous, a lot of the time it's just the smallest little thing like, bro, slow it down like 10%, you're talking too much. Or, hey, ask more questions. Or utilize your voice a little bit because you talk like this every single time when you knock on somebody's door. People learn not just from hearing my voice, but they hear, they read, they write, and they say. If I can get somebody to hear, read, write, and say something 6 times, I'm going to gain 62% of the retention. One of my last closes, and I'm going to explain this, one of the most powerful tools of presenting is getting the families physically involved with the process. If there's a button to press, they press it. If there's a lever to pull, they pull it. If there's something that you need them to do, you have them do it. The more that they can do and more being involved physically into the sale, that's how you gain the commitment, and that's how you gain the agreement. So this woman, it's a bigger system, and right at the end of the process, I was like, look, this is a much bigger system, so there's more labor. I have to make a quick phone call to see if I can even get it approved. Yeah, she's lived here for 7 years. Yeah, she lives on a corner location. Yeah, the panels would be like visible from the road, so we'd have like a billboard on her roof. Yeah, would you mind that we kept like one of the small little signs in the front planter too? Okay, perfect. She has no problem with being a reference. Okay, you want me to have her do that? Okay, perfect. So I just got off the phone with upper management. They will approve the home, but they want you to actually write down the top 3 reasons why we should pick your home. When you get somebody to write down in their own handwriting, I'm on a fixed income, PG&E is taking advantage of me, all that sort of stuff. Not using these techniques in every single sales situation, but every single sales situation requires different things because different buyers require different amounts of information. Psychology of yes. You are the product and service, the energy that you have in the service. What about the psychology of no? Lingering questions, inadequate explanation of benefits. You want to know probably the #1 reason why people don't do business with you, but they don't tell you? The #1 objection that people have, but it's hidden, they don't come out and tell you? Fear. Nope. Fear. What does fear stand for? That's the greatest enemy. The greatest enemy is the client's fear. False evidence appearing real. But the #1 thing, does anyone want to take one more guess?
They don't get it. The catch.
Okay, he got it. So in the back of people's minds, they're thinking this sounds way too good to be true. What's the catch? So instead of them maybe giving me a smoke screen like, I'm not interested, hey, come back next Thursday, you have a business card, I'm bringing that up before they bring it up. And it goes like this. Bottom line, sir, you're going to fall into 1 or 2 categories. Category 1, everything that I just explained to you makes complete and total sense. You know somebody else that's already gotten involved with this program. Or category 2, it just sounds way too good to be true, and you're probably sitting there like, wait a second, what's the catch? The catch is simple. What do I have of theirs at this point? I have their full attention. And then I'm like the boxer putting them in the corner. What was the main reason that you guys picked PG&E in the first place? Okay, you guys weren't thinking about canceling the account, correct? All right, because ultimately what I would propose is utilizing your roof as a power plant where you produce the power on site and you're more economical on a bill you're never going to cancel. Judy was a little dramatic, but what she told me was the utility company just seized money out of her bank account and she had no other option but to retreat. And she hesitated to pay full price on things that she did not need to. It's kind of like if you pulled out of the neighborhood and there was a big billboard on the side of the home and it said that a new utility company opened up in Pleasanton and you had the ability to pay less on a bill you were never going to cancel. It's not like your lights are going to look any different. It's just by producing the power on site, you're not paying any of these ridiculous fees and surcharges. Because what's happening is people are putting one and one together and realizing the utility company just kind of has the control, and ultimately PG&E is America's last monopoly. Clarity creates the conviction. The conviction creates the belief. The belief creates the energy creates the repetition creates service creates your life's work, and your life's work creates the freedom. That's what you guys are working so hard for. None of you guys work for free. You guys, even if you're brand new, like I said at the beginning, stop checking your Facebook and start facing your checkbook. Google, how can I become a better door-to-door salesman? Invest in a book. Invest in time and energy into actually recording yourself and listening to your presentation. Not everybody's going to do it. Believe it or not, 95% of people are non-achievers. Only 5% of people that say what they're going to do, they do it. 5 bones in an organization. You got the wishbones, right? They want it, but they rarely take action. You have the jawbones. They like to talk about it. You got the knuckle bones, right? They're going to go home and play Xbox after this. You got the tailbone, they're in last place. And then you got the backbones. The people that make it happen, the people that want to win, that know that they're winners. Guys, there's nothing fake about what I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys exactly the formulas on how you can create wealth in your life and create the life that you want.
The day you turn pro is the day you realize that attitude in selling is everything. Attitude is something you must build within yourself. You see, the most important thing you've got every day is your enthusiasm, your excitement for the job that you do in serving people. People say yes to you more in your conviction, your excitement, your enthusiasm than anything else. And if you don't have it in here, you can't transmit it out there.
This they drill, they rehearse. How often do you sit in front of a mirror and give your presentation and they laugh? Yet you studied so hard to pass an exam to avoid an F to impress your parents. What we're giving you is material that will impress everybody because of your income. Give them the best. They'll thank you. That I can promise. I spent the last $150 I had to go to a seminar, and the man teaching it, I can honestly say, all these years later, had a life-changing effect on my life. And that can happen to you when you go to a program with your mind open and you listen carefully, intently. You do your very best to take the pearls, those certain things that are said that can change your life if you apply them. That is the real key. Take the ideas, apply them tomorrow. Have a greater income. Be the person of your dreams. Thank you so much.
You see, I'm giving you a formula like Tom Hopkins, go invest, right? Even if you have 20 bucks, I'd say take that 20 bucks and invest in a book. Because what you pay for, you pay attention to. We talked about being terrific, you have to be specific. You want to hear something crazy? The average person spends more time planning out their 2-week vacation in every single detail of what they want to do than they do with their life's blueprint, which is their goal setting. But goal setting doesn't matter. It's the achievement of those goals that really makes the difference. 96% of people are non-achievers. You want to know why? Let me be blunt with you. It's because the devil occupies 96% of people's minds with blank space, right? When you start thinking, getting off the track, that's the devil working. 3 people you guys need to find. You need to find one person you want to emulate. You need to find some person that you're competing with, and you want to find one person you're mentoring. Those 3 individuals are very important people that you need to identify. The person I compete with every single day is the devil. You know, the person I always wanted to emulate was Tom Hopkins, because he's like literally the GOAT of sales. Like, he teaches how-tos. He teaches me things every single day. And then you find that one person that you're mentoring. By a show of hands, how many of you guys have ever brought in somebody brand new in and said, hey, watch me sell on the doors, and you've had somebody shadow you? Did you guys sell better or worse? Better. Why? It's because affirmation. You told yourself what you were going to do before you did it. The days that I have my best days, the weeks that I have my best weeks, I had made the decision before it even started. Because it starts up here. It starts up with the most powerful computer that there is, which is your brain. But that's something you need to program, reprogram. and understand that you are on a continuous journey to get to that spot. So I'm going to run through this pretty quick. Attitude, this is called the ABCs of selling. It begins with the ability to handle failure and rejection. Like I said, rejection turns me on. B stands for balance. You have to have total fulfillment in all areas: financial, emotional, physical, and spiritual. C stands for confidence. Act it and you become it. Ready for a bar? It's coming up. D stands for discipline. I want everybody to read this, okay? On 3, we're going to read this, starting with desire, okay? I want you to verbalize it. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Desire without discipline leads to disappointment, disillusionment, and depression. Who agrees with that? Right? Desire will lead to the discipline. The discipline will allow you to go out and demonstrate. Demonstration allows you to go out and actually document it. So you have a story. Through documentation, you start duplicating, and through duplication, you disappear. And that's how you move to the next level. That's how you go from an athlete to a closer, from a closer to a manager, from a manager to a regional manager. What has gotten you guys here won't get you there. You want to know why you are who you are? Why I am who I am? Why Junior's who he is? You guys are all who you are because of your life experience. That's really what makes you as a person, everything that you have gone through. But like a lot of people have never had an opportunity to say, hey, I can go out and I can earn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000, $1 million in a year, as long as I have the technique, the attitude, and the behavior to get there. E, enthusiasm is 51% of the sale. I am sold myself. Right? It's that spirit that I have within. F stands for flexible. Anything is feasible if you're always flexible. Will help. F stands for flexible. All right, it's okay. I know all of them. G stands for goals. If you can try to get that to work. H stands for health. Getting rich and sick is stupid. I is integrity. J is just for today. Live in the present. Everything from yesterday is a pot of ashes. K stands for knowledge. Knowledge is power when you properly apply it. L stands for laughter. It's like medicine to the bones. M stands for mentor. Finding that one person you want to emulate. N stands for network. Your network is your net worth. O stands for organized. P is persistence. Q is questions. If I say it, they will tend to doubt it. If they say it, then it's true. I'm like a police officer in there, bro. They say it, I write that shit down right in front of them. Oh, yep, you told me this, you told me that, you told me that. They'll tell you all the reasons why they want to be involved. You see, back in the 1940s up here in San Francisco, there's a big award for this big real estate agent that was named the Salesman of the Year over the whole United States. And this salesman had earned $30,000 in a year. What's crazy is there's plenty of guys making 30 grand a year. There's actually guys making 50, 60, 70 grand a year. So they're trying to figure out, why is this guy the top salesman in the whole United States if that's all that he sold? And they find out this is a blind salesman. He's blind, can't see anything, selling real estate. So like, how the heck does this guy sell so many? He's blind. So they run to find him at the end of the conference. And he goes, you see, the only way I can see these homes is through my customer's eyes. He couldn't see the homes through his own eyes, so what does he have to do to be able to see that home?
Ask questions.
And after he asks the question, what do you think's happening after that question? Another question. So tell me more detail. So now they're selling themselves, oh, it's absolutely beautiful, John. And he's like, the other advantage is they couldn't just leave me there. R stands for relationships. For me, currency is relationships. S stands for success. Success is defined as the continuous journey towards the achievement of predetermined worthwhile goals. T stands for time planning. Damn, it would have sucked for another sales trainer if this happened. They would have been lost. Luckily, it's all a reflex. T is time planning. We must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. We must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Okay, that's something I say to myself all the time. Taylor, is this the most productive thing possible at this given moment that I can do? If it isn't, then I pivot. Well, another aha moment for you guys. A lot of people don't achieve, and that's because they're interested when they need to be committed. They're the warning when they need to be the example. They're the liability when they need to be the asset. What you guys have to understand is you are on this continuous journey. And the easiest way for me to explain how you can achieve things is with this analogy, because it's something so simple that you can tell yourself. What does a strobe light do?
On and off.
What does it do? Flashes? On and off, on and off, on and off, continuous, right? What about a laser beam? Precise, right? No blinking. This is some stupid stuff, but for some reason it helps, right? It's like the stupidest things that I tell my brain, but like the things that I'm telling you works. I ask myself, am I the strobe light or am I the laser beam? When you notice yourself getting distracted, nope, Taylor, you're strobe lighting. Stop strobe lighting, gotta be the laser beam. It's these small little shifts in the way that you think that helps you actually stay on the track. The word myopic, being completely dialed in. Okay, I need you to think. I need you to really think. I do not want you to raise your hand unless you specifically know. Who can specifically remember the biggest game they've ever played in their life in sports? The biggest game you've ever played in sports, it would be vividly imagined. You remember the biggest game you've ever played in a sport. Does anybody can vividly imagine that? Okay, tell me about it. Okay.
Very close game. Won about 3 points. I had about 4 receptions for 75 yards. Our 3-time All-American running back, he went off. He had about 1 reception, or 2 receptions, 1 for a 50-yard touchdown.
Was it a home game or an away game? It was a home game. What was your level of focus before that game started?
Oh, we were tied in.
You were locked in.
From the moment we woke up, 6 a.m., met all together as a team.
You weren't thinking about your girl, your science project, nothing like that. You were so locked in.
I was watching film.
Yeah.
Woke up,
That,
ate breakfast with the team.
that's,
Plays.
that's the type of level of focus that you need. How many of you guys like soccer in here? Okay. Who's from an international country here that loves a soccer team? Where are you from? Colombia, okay. And what, you play soccer? Okay, let's say you did play soccer. Do you like soccer? All right, I got to go to somebody else then. What country?
Venezuela.
Do you like soccer?
Yes.
Okay, let's say hypothetically, you know what I mean? Let's say we go back, like, whatever, you're in prime shape of your life, and the Venezuelan national team calls you and they're like, hey, we need you to play for us in this game. And they call your name and you run onto the field. What type of emotion do you think you would have?
Very high emotion, excited and committed.
Absolutely dialed in.
Yes, it's like, you know, there's a famous soccer player in Spain. His name is David Villa. And they ask him, how you do it? You know, you always score. And he said, because I am always thinking about the goal.
Yeah.
And that's how he does it.
The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
Most people are interested when they need to be committed. You commit now and you figure it out later. Risk is the down payment for your success. I got it. Can you get it back up there? Coming. All right, so while he's getting this pulled up, I want to go over the 14 most important things, that I've learned through door-to-door sales. Junior, if you can work on that. But what type of questions do you guys have for me? And what are some things that you want to gain in the time that we have together? What are some questions that you have? If you can't get it figured out, I can just rip it. Yeah, let's just go like this. Boom. All right, so what I want to break down with you guys is the most important things that I've learned, in my 17-year career as a professional trick-or-treater. My best feats that I've ever had is in an 11-day period, I was able to sell 114 roofs. In 30 days while traveling all across US and even Canada, I was able to do 74 transactions in 30 days. And over 50 of those were self-generated, and over 50 of those got installed. It's not what you sell, it's what you actually can get to the roof. And then in alarms, I was able to do 45 sales in a 6-day period. And these are the things, when I thought about it, I said, what were the things that I would tell somebody the best piece of advice? Same way Tom Hopkins told me the best 3 pieces of advice: do what you fear most. We must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment, and always giving people way more than they expect. This is what I want to share with you guys today. Number 1, do business with people you want to do life with. If you're not having fun, it's not worth it. Do business with people you want to do life with. Number 2, you have to be fully aligned. If you're not aligned, it's hard to do. You want to know the 3 most important things to me in any sort of business relationship? Trust, loyalty, and longevity. Loyalty is rare. You don't want to be the guy that works at a company for 6 months at a time and is constantly rebuilding his pipeline. Longevity is so important. Number 3, first comes the action, then comes the motivation. First you move, then you have the power. It's easier to act and then feel than wait to feel and then decide to act. Visualize for inspiration and then verbalize for execution. I will do 30 sales in the next 45 days. Who think I can do this? Yes or no? Bet against me. And watch people bet against you on your Instagram story. Utilize these things to be able to hold yourself accountable. Number 5, you have to play a game. You have to have fun, and you have to be constantly eyes on the ball, okay? A lot of people have said eyes on the scoreboard, but if you're playing tennis and your eyes on the scoreboard, what's going to happen? Yeah, probably going to get smacked with the ball. So your eyes are on the ball, which is eyes on the field. Hey, I don't know what's going to happen today, but I'm going to commit my maximum effort. I said I'm going to be out here at 12. I said I'm going to work till 8. No matter what, I'm going to commit to what I said I was going to do, and then good things are going to happen. You have to have fun, but you also have to pay attention to the scoreboard. If you ignore the scoreboard ignores you every single time. If you pay attention to the scoreboard, then the scoreboard pays attention to you. Number 6, you have to include your family in your journey. You have to include your loved ones in your journey. If you have a goal to be the #1 salesman in all of Sunrun, but you also tell your wife, I'm going to spend more time with you than ever this month, it's going to be hard to do because you have conflicting goals. But if you say, honey, once I'm the top salesman, you actually incentivize those people around you. When I get this, you get that. There's a salesman that sold over thousands of solar systems. He tells me this story, and he's like, yeah, I came home one night at 5 p.m. My wife's like, you only have 2? What are you doing? It's still light out. Get back out there. Leave the house. You better get one in the next hour. So I said, being on the same page with your significant other and including others in your journey. Number 7 is having temporary imbalance. Temporary imbalance will get you ahead or behind, but temporary imbalance, if you really want to focus on one thing, it's going to help you get there faster. Number 8 is research and development. What I mean by that is I'm always playing chess. I'm never playing checkers. I'm always thinking 2 moves ahead. Communication, intentional communication. You guys have aspirations of building your own team. Perception of how people perceive you is a very important part of managing others. Number one goal of any leader in this room is selling salespeople on selling. What's the first level of leadership? Who do you have to lead? You have to lead yourself. So you're all leaders. You have to sell yourself on selling. This is your hobby. This is the game you like to play. Kid asked me the other day, he's like, what's your favorite sport? What sport are you best at? And I said, door-to-door sales. That's my sport. That's my game that I play. Number 9, communication is what keeps the vision a reality. Communication is what keeps that vision a reality. Contact beats content. Be very careful the way that you communicate with yourself. How many of you guys have a 4-digit code on your cell phone? Right? A lot of people don't got a 4-digit code on their mind. You see, Tom Hopkins taught me this game. It's called the zip-zip game. It goes like this. Zip, zip, zip. I am now in my positive shell. Okay, let's play. Let's play. Come on, get the zipper. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Zip, zip, zip. I am now in my positive shell. Right? You can do that to your friends and stuff, but if you do it around your spouse, you did not learn it from me. Number 10, vulnerability is the birthplace to innovation. Everyone take out their notes on their cell phone. We're going to take out their phones and go to the Notes tab. Okay? And I want you to write this in. This is something that I want you to work on. I'm not going to force you to do it, but it's up to you. Like I said, I'll give you the formula, but, you know, it's up to you to actually do it, what I give you with this information. I want you to write, what is my kryptonite, question mark. Every single one of you guys priority knows what your kryptonite is that's holding you back. But the more that you're aware of that, everything in your awareness is in your control. Anything outside of your awareness is outside of your control. So be aware of the things that are holding you back, the things that you know that you need to improve on. We talked about behavior. What you do occasionally will change nothing every single time. You guys ever write a to-do list when you're not accomplishing things? So you write to-do lists and you write the things you need to do? A lot of y'all need to write not to-do lists. Hey, these are the things that I should not be doing. These are the things that are not going to help me get in the direction that I want to go. Like I said, your life's like a stock. You get better or worse. There's no neutral. So what is closing broken down to the ridiculous? It's creating the decision. Whether you're closing somebody to set an appointment, whether you're closing somebody to open the door, whether you're closing the transaction. Closing is creating the decision. People buy emotionally and they back it up with logic, but no single close will ever rarely get you a close. It's that symphony of words that will culminate in a final win-win decision. And that's really what closing is broken down to the ridiculous. So how do we create the emotional decision, okay? The way we create the emotional decision, and I want to break down my whole sales process hereafter, but the 5 most important rules that I go over is clarity. This is something you should all write down. 5 most important things about my sales process is clarity, repetition, energy, belief, and service. That's what will culminate in an effective sales process. I need to be clear with my words. I need to repeat myself. I need to have the right energy. I need to have that absolute conviction and belief, and I need to service the families that I serve. Now, what do you think is the most powerful technique in all of selling? This is the most powerful technique in all of selling. There's one technique that's more powerful than any other technique, and when you lose this, you lose the sale every single time. Control. Control, yes. Is this resonating with you guys? Okay. Control. Somebody is going to take the command position every single time. You see, I'm the assistant buyer. I'm controlling the way that the sales process goes, but I ask the right questions where they feel like there's no pressure, they have full control over the whole sale, but I'm taking their hand like walking a kid across a 4-lane highway or something. I'm not just going to say, hey, cross the road. I am the decision maker too. I'm actually one of the ones that decides whether or not they go solar. When you can control the presentation to a predetermined decision, you will master and command the attention of the sale the involvement, the flow of the presentation, the potential rejection, and the emotion. And that's what culminates in a final win-win. All right, so what I focus on in my first 30 seconds, a lot of you guys are knocking, you're athletes. First thing I want to do is I need to create curiosity. If there's no pain, there will never be a change. How many of you guys have ever went to the beach or ever gotten like a small little rock or a pebble in your shoe before? And you just keep walking with it. That's exactly what's happening to all the homeowners out here. Their bill's on auto pay. They pay the bill. It's annoying that the utility bill goes up, but they just continue to pay it. That pebble has been in their shoe for years where it's just not that big of a deal because they don't want to take the effort to untie the shoe, take off the shoe, dump out the rock. But what happens if that was a small little shard of glass? One more step. Nope, I'm not taking any more steps. So that's really what you need to understand, is you're turning a pebble in somebody's shoe into a glass shard. If there is no pain, there's no change. This is how my process works. Affirmation, I say what I'm going to do. This would be ridiculous, bro. They were talking about it last night. Bro, the wife was pissed because the husband was playing Xbox all night, and he plays Fortnite, so that's why the bill keeps going up. I had a kid shout at me. He's like, how do you know this? I'm like, don't worry about it. IASM, I am sold myself beforehand. This is ridiculous. They're definitely going to do it. There's no way. I've got way too many reasons that they're going to do this. There's no way I can hurt their situation. Who you are, why you're there. Then I ask a soft question. I don't know if you know. Then I tell a story. The better your story is, the more pain that you can create. I need to focus on creating that curiosity. After I explain that there's a pain, then I explain to them how they could be potentially involved, how they're rewarded, why this makes sense, transition, rebuild the rapport. See, I understand a lot of you guys are in your first year in sales. So you might say, wow, this is a lot to learn. I'm just exposing you to the information, right? You guys have this all on footage. You guys have notes that you're writing. But the idea behind the training is to help you think differently and have an aha moment to make a small little change in the trajectory of the direction that you're going. One of the things I say is, hey, I'm pretty much going to cut to the chase and give you the short version. That's one of the first things that I say. The reason I'm coming by is like a little bit different. When I came to California the last time, and I went to the field, I went with a kid, and I was like, how many sales did you have last month? He's like, I had 3. I was like, okay, did you work the whole month, or were you gone on vacation? He's like, no, I worked every day. It's just hard. It's NEM 3.0. 2.5 hours into it, I had 2 self-gens, my first day out there. And I'm like, bro, let me understand, what are you doing that I'm doing differently? Like, let me understand if you only got 3. He goes, I'll tell you what you're doing. These people have never heard of what you're saying because I've never even heard it. It's helping people think differently. Whether I'm training you guys or whether I'm in the field knocking doors, serving families, they're thinking just a little bit different than all the other salesmen or all the other people that I've tried to talk to them. Because what I'm doing is completely different. These other individuals don't have that level of conviction that I have to be able to communicate on the right frequency. What's your favorite radio station out here in San Francisco? 106.1. What type of music plays on 106.1? R&B and hip-hop. What happens if his dial was on 105.9? Static. Same thing that happens when you talk to homeowners. You need to speak with them at the right frequency. You need to be professional imitators. You need to mirror and match the families that you serve. If it's an old woman that answers the door, oh, hi, ma'am, how are you? My name is Taylor McCarthy. Actually, the reason I'm calling by is like a little bit different. If it's an older guy, if it's somebody that's pissed, yeah, sorry I'm late, sir. We did want to do about 2 more, right? I'm mirror and matching the type of person that I'm speaking with. And that's just kind of like an instinct that I have, but also from doing this for so long. What you need to think about is if you were sitting there watching TV and somebody knocked on your door, what would somebody need to say to you to get to that next level? Because a sale is a series of sales. Getting them to open the door, getting your first yes. You see, I get 49 to 50, 60 yeses before I go into the final close. My close is not complicated. Okay, so the next step is I have to verify you're on the deed of the home. You're not a wanted burglar. You guys don't have any arrest warrants out in North Dakota or Montana or anything like that. All right, nothing they know about. Okay, we're going to verify you went through a bankruptcy in 12 months and that you have decent credit. What's the correct spelling of your last name? But when I go into that process, I already know they're going to do it. There's not like I ask them if they want to go solar. Same when I set an appointment. I'm not asking them to set an appointment. I tell them what's going to happen, and if they don't stop you, that means they want to move forward. So me breaking down my process to you guys, I do it a lot with something called visual aids, and I'll show you kind of what's in my arsenal here. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was in Illinois, and I walk into the gas station, and I'm walking through the gas station. He's like, "Nice binder. What do you got in there?" I was like, "Bro, I got a whole arsenal in here." This thing is worth a lot of money, right? Because of how much money it can make me, right? When you got a binder with the pop-out handles, right? You know you're a gangster, right? You can get these off my website, stonecoldtrappers.com, and we got the embroidery for the Knockstar logos on them. So this is kind of what I do, and you know, this piece of paper specifically, whether I was a setter or a closer, is something that I created to really break it down to the absolutely ridiculous. Most people are overcomplicating the sale. My whole close is about 15 minutes. I lay out the situation that they're currently in. I show them what we want out of it. I go over these questions that would determine whether or not I would pick their home. I show them the main reasons people go solar. I show them the takeaways. Then I say, "I'm going to show you how this works. Do you have any issue with me using you as a reference?" Nope. Non-disclosure? Nope. Keeping the sign of the art? Nope. Allowing us to fly the drone above the home during the install? Don't worry, it won't be Russia, it won't be China. We just want to be able to take the before and afters. Yep, I'm cool with all four of those things. Then I show them the design. I fill it this side, and the only way they're picking that is if they want to justify a way to pay more for their electricity. Because I've created those series of yeses throughout the process. So this is kind of the way that I go through my process, and I shared with Joe an actual how to use these slicks in more detail. But typically the first bill that I would like you to have, or the first thing on the top of your binder that you have, I don't know if you've ever heard of this phrase, but sell the destination, not the plane. You understand what I mean by that? If I said, "Bro, I'll give you a free trip to Florida, you can come visit me, but you got to go through Nebraska and then Oklahoma, and there's 7 layovers and going to be a 60-hour flight," you're not going to do that. But you want to be able to hang out at the beach. What is the destination I want to get the family to? Is the absolute lowest utility bill possible. So in markets that I work, a do not pay electric bill would be the destination, a negative electric bill. Maybe here it's a $10 electric bill based on the connection fee. You want to carry that around and being able to show people, hey, I don't know if you guys already knew about it. Did you guys already receive the statement that stated do not pay? Right, I'm selling the destination, not the plane at the very beginning. All I do is I show them an apples to apples comparison. That's how it looks when it's all filled out, or something like this. And I'm able to actually leave them with this piece of paper. If I was a setter, I would carry this around and be like, hey, all he's going to do is show you both situations. Leave that with them so that when the closer comes back, all he has to do is fill out both sides of the chart, ask the questions, go over the pillars, and then show them the reasons why they would be disallowed from the program. This slick, I say, ever since they introduced the new technology from the old stuff to the new stuff, that's why we've had so many inquiries. When I bring up solar for the first time, I say, I don't know if you guys have noticed all the people putting up like the little windmills in the backyard or like the solar panels on the roof. These people did not win the lottery. I actually had a rep. He's like, bro, I implemented it. And I was like, I don't know if you've seen the windmills or the solar. And I set an appointment with the guy, and I got back to his house, and we're sitting at the table, and he's like, hey, so tell me more about those windmills. He's like, well, you know, those are very expensive. But just breaking it down to ridiculous, old stuff to the new stuff. When it comes to solar specifically, there's 6 major questions. What happens to my roof? What if I move? How much does it cost? Who maintains it? When do we start saving money? And who owns it? As far as the roof, it keeps the house a lot cooler in the summertime. If you guys move, it transfers over the same way the PG&E account would. How much does it cost? You guys are already paying for this. If I cannot take the amount that you donate to the utility company to completely fund the project, we don't even do it. What we would ultimately propose is using the roof as a power plant where you produce the power on site and you're no longer at the mercy of the power company's stronghold. Like George was a little dramatic, but he told me he was pretty much in handcuffs because he hasn't gotten a raise in 20 years, but the utility company raises their rates 3 times a year. Like people are just putting one and one together and they're sick and tired of this. I don't know if you remember a few years ago when they had the Dixie wildfires, PG&E took responsibility for that, and guess who had to pay for it? I'm done. I'm sick and tired of this. That's why we're putting together somewhat of a petition, like we refer to as the redirection program. Like I said, if your tactics are sound, they can't fight you. The whole goal is to take them from the red to the blue, from the mercy of the power company to complete independence. If your current utility denies the application, you are stuck with option A. If we cannot utilize the amount that you give to the utility company to fund the project, we will not pick the home. How they get their power. What we're proposing, option C being a situation where they're in the line and PG&E, hit sticks them from the side. If any of you guys play Madden, Junior knows about that. Dropped 50 on him last night. Isaac got the business too. So, I'm able to visibly show them. Like while I'm talking, I'm like, it's easier if I show you, and I'm putting something in their hands. The main reasons that people go solar, the questions that I go over, the roadmap of how this process works, an installation checkpoint showing you that Sunrun, talking about your company and the quality, the service, the state increases that are happening, the amount of money that they can save, how the grid works, how solar works, the apples to apples comparison, where we are in the market as far as how much the power rates continue to go up. I have a whole set of slicks in Spanish too, so if somebody doesn't speak English, well, I still got a chance, So I have different ways to be able to create this decision. I even carry this thing around. I got it for 20 bucks. It's a boogie board, but I say, hey, this is kind of what the new technology looks like. You don't see these blue lines. You can see, obviously they're not this thin, but I have different ways, like props, to be able to get them physically involved. But I also learned different sort of techniques and tactics. Like, I learned one a few weeks ago where, if I'm sometimes you're at the door and you're like, hey, should I get out of here? Should I stay? I use this kind of option close. Like I said, sir, I was the one that put together the report. Everything looks great. You guys have an ideal situation for this. But just to save both of us time, if I was to complete the rest of the design and drop it off, would it be something you'd at least look at, or would it be something you'd rip up? If they say they'd at least look at it, then I know I can continue building value. If they're like, oh, I'd rip it up, I say, okay, do you have any other questions for me? God bless you, right? Have a nice day. Someone's getting upset, hey, this isn't a doorstep decision. Being able to have all these little one-liners in my bag when I need them really allowed that, sales process to go a lot smoother. So, yeah, I guess I want to take some questions from you guys. And, you guys have this such a good opportunity, awesome leadership. I was at the retreat with the leaders this last few days. And I think the biggest thing that I realized that's a little bit different from this group, from the other groups, is what I said at the beginning, is do business with people you want to do life with. People do not quit companies. You know who they quit? They quit leadership. And you guys have the ability to work with authentic, real people. There's a lot of fake people living fake lives out there, but also understand that compromising on talent within an organization is toxic. Like I said, there's those 5 bones of the organization. If every single one of you guys were backbones in this office, think about what this group would do. Like 500 accounts a month is what you guys should do. Easy, with this amount of people. But it's all you guys saying, hey, I'm going to make that decision today. I'm going to write down what my kryptonite is. I'm going to understand the things that are holding me back. I'm going to 1,000% commit to this opportunity that I have, and I'm going to take advantage, because if you're not, you want me to be like nice to you guys, or you want me to be blunt? Okay, you're being selfish as fuck. You are. If you don't take advantage of the opportunity. How many of you guys saw your parents struggle? How many of you guys never had a silver spoon in your mouth? Right? Starting from the bottom isn't the deficit, it's the gift. You literally have the keys. You have your professional contract in front of you. Right? These athletes that go to school and go for years, and the doctors and the dentists and the lawyers, they have to have a lot of sacrifice to get that professional contract. You'll have it right in front of you right now. take advantage of it. Because you're going to go through your life and you don't want to live with the regret of saying, hey, I had the opportunity in my life and I just wasn't committed, right? I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I wasn't myopic. I didn't put on the blinders. All you need to do is commit to the activity. It sounds simple. Like literally just, even if you're struggling right now, say, I don't know what I'm doing. Like literally take your voice recorder out, record yourself in the field, and commit to a certain time that you'll start and time that you'll finish. Take a selfie, send it into the group chat. Send a selfie after you finish. If you say you're going to start at 11 a.m. and you're going to work till 8, and you send your selfie in at 7:59, you did not do what you said you were going to do. If I worked at Walgreens and my shift started at 11 a.m. every day and I kept checking in at 11:08, what's going to happen? You're going to get fired. So going back to it, you guys have the keys to your life right in front of you. Make the plays. It's up to you. So I'm going to go into any questions that you guys have and anything that you guys would ask from me.
I got a question.
Yep.
So when you first started looking at systems, what was going through your mind? Kind of how you talk to like being the person you talk to the football
Yep.
that you made earlier. What was going through your mind during that time?
When I first started in solar, or when I first started in door-to-door sales?
Your whole mindset, like how, like remember how you used the example, like when you were prime of your life, you were physical,
Yep.
your body, whatever, and you were getting called into the substance football game. How was that experience like for you?
I guess when I got into this, I had something called absolute certainty. I was absolute certain of what I wanted to accomplish. And these 5 words that you guys should write down, losing is not an option. Losing is not an option. Circle that and then sign it right under it. I want you to write losing is not an option, circle it, and put your signature under that. Losing was never an option for me. What was crazy is when I first got into sales, I walked into a movie theater. There's like 300 people. These guys all had fresh suits on. They had nice BMWs. I had this old station wagon. I didn't even own a suit at the time. I had long hair. I was pursuing a career in professional snowboarding. I broke my collarbone with no health insurance living in Argentina. And I just was in this room. I'm the new guy, I'm the rookie. The rookies did 100 accounts and you were like, it was really hard for a rookie to get 100. If you got 100 as a rookie, you know, you were like one of the best. There's a company called Platinum Protection. I competed against the Sam Taggarts, the Danny Pessis, all these guys. And the scoreboard didn't lie, you know. I ended up with 383 transactions as a rookie, but I knew what was gonna happen before I started. I knew that losing was not an option. I knew that I was gonna smash everybody. But you want to know how I got that level of certainty? I had a stronger who than everybody else. Like I said, it's not why you're doing it, it's who you're doing it for. My dad, he's always had health conditions. He got down to his last 20 bucks and he'd take the $20 and he'd buy me a pack of baseball cards. He wouldn't buy himself anything, but every other extra dollar he had, he would spend on me and my sister. And I knew that I wanted to make my dad proud. I knew that there was going to be an end of the year awards party and everyone would be in tuxedos and there would be all these awards and it would lead to this final award, which should be the salesman of the year. And I kept visioning that every single day to have my dad there when that happened. I said, fuck that, I ain't letting anybody else take that from me. Because the who was more important than the why. And there was times where I got tired, there's times where I wanted to retreat, but I didn't because I knew what the end goal of what I wanted to accomplish was. So that's how I'd answer that question. Having absolute certainty and understanding losing is not an option. Absolute certainty.
What's the rest of the alphabet? You left off at T.
Time planning.
Yeah.
Understanding. Time planning. Understanding. Work. Life works if you do. X is, Z is zeroing with zeal. Y is Y weight, X is extra. So attitude, balance, confidence, discipline, enthusiasm, flexible, goals, health, integrity, just for today, knowledge, laughter, mentor, network, organized, persistence, questions, relationships, success, time planning, understanding, vocabulary, work, extra, Y weight, zeroing with zeal. Just a reflex, right? Those are the ABCs of selling. So I have some worksheets for you guys actually, which we're going to make some copies of. I believe Yeah, I think I handed them to you, Isaac. So these guys have worksheets that you'll be able to fill in. Actually, let me see one. So your upper management is gonna make these for you guys. And if you didn't get all of them or you didn't write them down, there are people that do. So what I would like for you to do with this piece of paper is, after you write down and fill in all the blanks, I would like you to laminate this. Go to Staples, laminate it, and post it in your bathroom so it's something you're looking at every single day. When you can learn to internalize these are some of the most important fundamentals, of a door-to-door salesman. Thanks for catching that, bro. I didn't realize I was on a rant there, so got halfway through my ABCs. Hardest thing I ever did as far as selling? Hardest thing I ever had to do in life. I think probably one of the hardest things I've had to do, let me think about that. I think with sales, the hardest thing I did was my last blitz. Like, that shit was hard. Like, it was 74 sales in 30 days. 2 days in Florida, 2 days in Illinois, 2 days in Texas, 2 days in New Mexico, 2 days in California, 6 days in Arizona, 4 days in Texas, 2 days in New Mexico, and then 3 days in Florida and 2 days in Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. But what's crazy about that is, bro, I got no leads. I got nowhere. I've got to figure out the market immediately. I've got a same day or I'm dying, bro. I literally show, like, these people, like, I show them my YouTube. They like and subscribe. I'm like, bro, I literally got a flight, bro, tomorrow. Like, I'm really not going to be here, So for me, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in sales. Hardest thing I've ever had to do in life, I guess just kind of like my upbringing, like how I was raised and being able to, see that I didn't have much growing up and had to create this for my whole family. We never had a house. We always lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and, I lived in the living room. And then when I started golf caddying, I started earning money, and then I got into door-to-door sales. And there's a company called 2020 Communications, and when HGTVs first came out, I got one for my dad, and they put me on the cover of their newsletter, like, 18-year-old buys father HGTV for Father's Day. And I was like, really cool. And, 3 years ago, I was able to buy my dad a house. So, being able to do those type of things with these type of opportunities, with just my upbringing, coming from a small town, 3 towns went to our one high school, coming from a 1.8 GPA, these teachers would probably be like, there's no way Taylor's doing that right now, right?
Right here. So going back to the fundamentals, as a professional trick-or-treater,
Yep.
what's your strategy when you approach a new neighborhood?
What's my new strategy? I'm gaining information, so.
First, gaining information.
Gaining information.
That's number one.
Okay, so the first person I talk to, his name is Jack. He's got 3 dogs and he's a firefighter. Whether he goes solar or not, the next person I talk to, I don't know if you know Jack, he's the firefighter. He's actually got the 3 dogs. He's one of the ones we're considering. Okay, this lady's name's Martha. The next house that I go to, I don't know if you know Jack, and you might know Martha. He's the firefighter. She's like the woman that like works with like Tesla. You've probably seen the 3 cars in her driveway. I'm gaining a lot of information and references to be able to gain that trust. You also have to cut to the chase. You've got 2 strikes against you. The better your story is, the better that you have to create that decision. I don't know if you guys know what's going on with PG&E, but it is serious. We're not trying to come down on anybody, however it is important. Did you guys already receive a statement that stated do not pay, or did you not receive that yet? Right now I've got them curious. Well, do not pay. We never got one of those. Cool, so we've had a ton of inquiries. I don't know if you guys noticed the people putting like the little windmills behind the home or like the solar panels on the roof. These people did not win the lottery. They did not take money out of their checking account. There's a new program that's allowing the homeowners to take the money they would have given to PG&E to redirect it into actually having control and predictability. What we would propose is using the backside of the roof as a power plant where you produce the power on site. I'm mirror and matching every person that I'm talking to though. Not one of my presentations is the exact same. I want to be able to talk to them how they want to be talked to. When I go into a brand new neighborhood, I might go to the person that has solar right off the bat, and I might record a video with them, like go up to them and, actually, I'll show you a couple things that I do. Have you guys ever seen How many of you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel? All right, good shit. I appreciate that. If any of you guys aren't, you guys want to do me a favor and click that subscribe. That would be clutch. Yeah, I just came here to get some more subs, baby. Let's go. So there's 2 videos I'm going to show you that I use pretty consistently. Bro, you don't got any service in here? What? All right. So there's 2 videos that I show to people. And what I say, if you ever watch my YouTube videos, you ever see that thing I have around my neck? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's a little thing I wear around my neck. It's a speaker. And the reason I use that is because I place testimonial videos. Going back to if I say it, people tend to doubt it, but if others say it, then it's true. So the first video that I have that I like to use is I'll say, look, I'm going to tell you it's good no matter what. It's easier if I show you, and then I'm pulling that social proof. Also understand how important pattern interrupting is during sales. What a pattern interrupt is say if the sale isn't going on the track that you want it, and they start pulling the control of the sale, and you're no longer commanding the way that the sales presentation goes. I just came up with this line, and it's fire. Or as J. Douglas Edwards says, when he has a fire line, you know what he calls it? He's like, this one is murder. So like maybe I'm in the middle of my presentation, maybe I'm saying something, and then I'll just cut off mid-sentence. I'll say, sir, may I just have your permission to be blunt with you? So firepower line, right? Sir, may I just have your permission to be blunt? Yes, please do. Right now I got their full attention again. Right? They were sidetracked. Well, now they're good to go. No, I just need the Wi-Fi, bro.
That's already on there.
All right. So all right, so this is the 2 videos that I like to use. So this is one that I'll use. Like, look, man, I'm going to tell you it's good no matter what. It's easier if I show you.
What do you think is the reason that you did business with me when I came and knocked on your door? And I haven't had a light bill in 8 years. Wow. I'm sorry for me. To believe you remember
Crazy to go up to somebody 8 years later and they remember who you are and say, I haven't had a light bill in 8 years. When I show families that video, I've had so many people completely turn. Like being like, man, and then I show them that and they're like, all right, yeah, let's sit down. You know what I mean? So like social proof, being able to actually show people, you know, not just tell them, but being able to actually show them. And there's one more video I want to show you. Hopefully this pulls up. Bear with me. I'm going to show you this last video. It's a really good one. All right, so it's going to be, all right, this one.
All right, guys, I'm with Gloria on Weaver Circle, and Gloria's had solar for about 1.5 years. Gloria, did you win the lottery? How much money did you take out of your account to get the solar?
Nothing.
Nothing, okay, so that sounds way too good to be true. What is the catch? What was the main reason you decided to go solar? Were you able to see savings on your electric bill?
Savings, and I wasn't going to pay Dominion Energy the money that they were asking for. I got tired of it.
So, hypothetical question. If I worked for Dominion and I came here and I tried to convince you to rip the solar panels off the roof and go back to Dominion, what would you say?
What we said on camera?
Yeah.
Hell no.
You say no. So all we got to do is show you the design. All right, tell me when you're ready.
So that technique,
All right, so
I had this person, I always have them rip up their utility bill too, getting people to rip up their utility bill. But, you know, how many of you guys ever see those videos that I put on my Instagram like, hey, what would you say? Well, what would you say? You want to know what I do with those videos? I text it to the homeowner. When I set the appointment, what I do is I send them a pre-report. So when I'm setting, right, this is the way that I actually confirm the actual appointments. So I use an app called Knock Buddy, and on the app, what I do is I can just see the sun hours. So there's an array to be able to show exactly where the panels would go onto the roof. It's the same thing that I do when I knock on the door. So like, let's just say hypothetically, I was knocking this door right here. what I'm able to do is show them the hours that the sun is hitting their house. I don't have to worry about what's north, what's east, what's south. Like, I know that's the portion that their roof gets crushed in sun. I can show them the actual roof. So like, I'll screenshot that. I'll text them the pre-report. I'll say, I already have the pre-report complete. I'll just send you a quick text so you have that. And then I'll get the rest of the design finished up. And then I'll have my engineer pop by. What is the best contact number? I'm going to send you the pre-report right now. I send them the pre-report. Then I text them their address and the time that I set for the appointment to be set. So, okay, 3605 Rogers Road, 5 p.m. Thursday. And then what I say is I say, just so I know that you got that, you have an option. Can you either send me A, a thumbs up emoji, or B, if you really want to surprise me, send me like your favorite emoji or just a crazy one. Can you do that? Yeah, I'll do that. And then they send me an emoji to my phone. Why would I ask them to send me an emoji? Who sends emojis to each other? Friends, right? You get on an emoji relationship with the families that you serve, you're going to be milking referrals out of them, right? So it's like these small little, tiny little things that I'm doing throughout the process are all leading to actually create the decision and gain the transaction. Another thing I want to share with you guys is vocabulary. Your vocabulary is either helping you or it's hurting you. There's so many nasty words that you should not use in any sort of sales presentation because it builds fear, false evidence appearing real. What are some of those nasty words that you think you shouldn't use? Okay. You know, who knows on the YouTube what happens if you say the P word? 10 push-ups, yeah. All right, so if you guys want to play that for the next whatever, 20, 30, whatever time we're in here, who's in? If you use the P word when we're in here, you got to do 10 push-ups. Who's in? All right, we got half the room in. So just if you didn't raise your hand, make sure you don't use that nasty word, zip, zip. So we want to say the word presentation. People don't want to buy, people want to own. People want to be sold. You want to get them involved or help them acquire. You know one of the nastiest ones that I hate when people say? Yeah, to be honest with you, sir. Sounds like shit, right? What should you say instead of to be honest? To be blunt, right? To be frank, to be blunt with you. I had a lady where I was doing roofing sales for this company and I got everything done, helped her with this, and I said, okay, yep, the next step is, whoa, I'm not signing any sort of contracts today. Oh, no, ma'am, that's fine. That's fine. All we need to do is okay this form. And once we okay this form, then we're able to get to the next step. Oh, okay. It's the words that will either create fear. When you knock on somebody's door, the anxiety is way here and the certainty's here. I need to shift that. I need to make their certainty here and their anxiety go down. Sometimes it's the buyer's low confidence in themselves to make a decision, and that's my job to build them up. It's my job to build that rapport. It's my job to affirm that they're making the decision that's best for them in that situation. A lot of nasty words that you get rid of from your vocabulary, but there's also specific words like monthly payment. I don't say that. I say monthly amount. Nobody wants a payment. People want an amount. But the opposite of a nasty word is something called a glamour word. A glamour word is a commonly known word that's uncommonly used to build excitement during a presentation. Okay, so let's see if you guys can understand the glamour words here. So yeah, when I talked to Billy, what he told me, and he was a little dramatic about it, but the utility company was just seizing money out of his bank account. He had no other option but to retreat, and that was a spectacular situation for him. What were the glamour words that I used there? Dramatic, seizing, retreating, spectacular. What are some other glamour words that we can use to build excitement? Opportunity. Involve. What are some more like, I like the word exempt, right? I love exempt. Like the main reason that deters people from even getting involved with this program is all the upfront costs, like paying for the labor, the installation, the permitting. However, what we would actually propose is utilizing you as a reference home, where we would actually ask you to do a few things for us, and in return, we would exempt you from paying all those upfront costs. Now, how many years have you even lived here? Okay, it's a little bit more selective, but we go over these questions. They're called can we pay questions, and these questions ultimately determine whether or not we pick your home. Okay? Glamour words, nasty words, understanding the difference. All right, other questions? Right here.
I remember you mentioned spirituality in your presentation. I recently I don't come from a spiritual or religious background, but recently I just kind of started believing in God. I want to know what role did that play in your journey?
Yeah, let's give it up for him for saying that, right? Yeah, so, I've always been a Christian. I grew up that way, and, there's times where I'm closer to God or further away from God. But I guess as long as I have God in my life and I put him first and understand that he put me here for a reason and nothing happens by accident. I don't even know if you guys understand, bro, I'm 18 years old and I'm in a supermarket and the most important words in recruiting is who do you know? We used to have to wear these pins on our shirt that said who do you know? And I went up to a kid in aisle 6 and I'm like, hey man, can you get some help? I was like, bro, how long have you worked here? I was like, bro, those are sweet shoes, right? Recruiting is like flirting with dudes, or it's like flirting with people. Hey bro, those are sick shoes. You want to go get lunch? You know what I mean? And it's what it is, and I meet this kid and I'm like, tell him about the opportunity. I was selling Verizon Fios 2020. It was a kid named Tiago Barros. And that kid ended up coming into door-to-door sales, and he ended up recruiting Junior into door-to-door sales. And it's like, bro, if I never talked to that kid in aisle 6, some shit you never know. Junior might have, been in freaking Liverpool playing freaking right next to, playing. He could have been in the freaking EPL or whatever that league's called, It's funny. I'm gonna get sidetracked really quick. I've given you guys a lot of value, so let me just go on a quick tiny tangent. 2015, 2016, I joined the soccer league, and I was the GM, I was the goalie, but I was putting together the squad. And I was Junior lived an hour and a half away from me. I was like, Junior, I got him to commit. He finally comes. He gets 63 goals in the first 5 games. And the other team's like, who the fuck is this Francisco Bandera kid? I was like, dude, we shipped him in. We flew him up from Brazil. They thought we did. And then the kid misses 3 games in a row. And then he finally comes back for the championship. And it's he's wearing this hooded and everything. They're like, oh, that's the whole people were like, oh, that's the kid. All right, sorry. I was a little sidetracked, but. Yeah, he missed the PK. No. What happened was we were in the championship. I'm a loud goalie. I'm aggressive. I got a big wingspan. And we tied, and we go into penalty kicks. And I got a nice save on a kid. And then all Junior has to do is beat this, scrub goalie. And, all he's got to do is kick it in the net. I'm like, dude, we won the game. And, I was like, dude, you got this. And, we're all sitting at the line. I'm, waiting to, sprint towards Junior, right? Literally right as he kicked it, I, started running because, there's no way he's going to miss it. Kid thought it was football, bro. It was hitting the field goal at the top. That thing went way up into deep left field. Luckily, we got the save after that, and we took home the ship. But, those are kind of the fun things, bro. I love playing sports with my friends. I love doing business with my friends, doing business with people you want to do life with. And, when you can do those type of things, it's your business is your gift to the world. God gave you a gift, and that's your business, and your business is your gift to the world. So kind of going back into your question, God definitely makes a big, I don't even know how any of this is crazy that this is even happening, because my life could have went into crazy million different directions. I've always been hard. I wouldn't even say I'm a hard worker, bro, because I didn't even work for the last 17 years. I've just been trick-or-treating, I got talked about it when I was a kid, right? We'd have the 6 to 8 window and to trick-or-treat, and we'd have all our stuff ready, and it would start at 6. We would definitely be out there at 5:20, 40 minutes early, and we'd collect as much candy as we could, and kind of the way that you think. Some days I don't feel like working. I'm all right, I'll just go exercise and make friends. All right, I don't feel like exercising and make friends. Well, hey, I'll just get free lottery tickets. Oh, that's a $10,000 lottery ticket. All I got to do is use my words correctly, and then I can create the decision. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit how my mind works. And without God, you're going to realize that God is going to be able to help you in a lot of ways. And You know, it's kind of like when you stop training, you realize you have to train more. When you stop believing and stop doing that, then you realize how much you need to do it. All right, questions?
So, I know you said it a lot of times on Zoom, at the retreat, you know, you say, be a laser beam and don't be the spotlight, right?
Strobe light.
Strobe light, yep. So can you give us a couple maybe behaviors, maybe activities that people can do, you know, on vacations, at home, to basically stay the laser beam?
I got a bar for you. Everything you do off of the doors needs to be to get you into the groove when you're on the doors. So you need to constantly be thinking about the things that you're doing off of the doors to get you into the groove when you are on the doors. Pretty cut and dry. That's what I would tell you is do the small little things. How many of you guys like basketball in here? All right, so there's an interview with, I don't even know how to say his name, SGA, the guy from the Oakland. And they're like, how do you consistently hit these shots? How are you so consistent? He's like, I'm just consistent at life, bro. You know, I eat the same things every day. You remember that? Yeah, so he's basically like, hey, that's like, I'm just consistent, you know? But the things that you have to do is just always question yourself and say, is this the most productive thing possible at this given moment? And if it isn't aligned with the direction that you want to go, then you probably shouldn't do it. You should probably try to focus on the things that are going to help you get ahead because those are the things that are going to help you get happy. Your job is to create income. Like if you were to say, what's the most important thing every single one of you guys needs to do? Somebody asked me this question the other day. I need to create. You need to create. That's the most important thing that you need to focus on. All right, I don't know what's going to happen on this YouTube episode. Junior puts me in a hotel in Oakland. The next thing you know, there's some like sideshow shit happening on the freaking middle of the road. I got green laser pointers shooting at my face. Did you think I thought that was how this YouTube episode was going to start, you know? But it's like you don't know what's going to happen, but you have to commit. You have to put yourself out there. And the more that you put yourself out there, the more good things that happen. And, you know, sometimes you're not able to get it, but guess what? I've won some, I've lost some, but I'm undefeated. I've won some, I've lost some, but I'm still undefeated. Yep.
So what's your favorite, top 5 one-liners?
Top 5 one-liners? Dude, I have like 100 of them, but, you know, I'll pretty much cut to the chase. I'll give you the short version. I like to use that a lot. I was the one that actually put together the report for this location. I really like to use that early in the presentation. Sir, the only objection that I face with you is trust. It's like having a cell phone with no service. All you can really do is play games. I'm not here to play games, so level with me. How much of what I said do you actually believe? Not everybody cares about saving money, but most people care about the environment. Not everybody cares about the environment, but most people care about saving money. You know, I can utilize different little one-liners, you know, within my process. Takeaways, tie-downs, isn't it, wouldn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, that was one, wasn't it? Utilizing these things, which are questions at the end of a sentence that demands a yes. Bottom line, you're going to fall into one or two categories. Category 1, it makes sense. Category 2, it sounds way too good to be true. You're probably sitting there, what's the catch? The catch is simple. What's the main reason that you picked this? An intent statement, right? All the little things. Reverse selling, right? Reverse selling is probably one of the most nastiest things that I came up with. You're not going to find it in a book, and it goes like this. And this is powerful. Before I explain to you all the reasons why so many people have gotten involved with this program, I'm going to first tell you the reasons you would never do this. You would never ever partake in this program if I was sitting here trying to convince you to go into debt to put a solar system. What I mean by that is if I try to convince you to take out a loan, and that loan were to last for 25 years, and that 25 years there was a bunch of interest attached to it, that's probably a reason you would never ever partake in this program, and the main reason that's deterred so many people from partaking. Now the only way you would do it, and then I'm positioning the PPA. Do you understand this concept? Because when you get it, it's very powerful. I'm positioning the lease against the loan, and when selling the loan, I sell the loan against the lease. Before I explain to you all the reasons why so many people have gotten involved with this program, I first want to explain to you the reasons you would never do this. And then you talk shit about the other product. And then you nod. And as they nod, they start nodding. So it's like I have so many different excuses to find the yes from them. And if you break down what I have to do, You prospect. The best thing I've ever heard about prospecting is prospect your way out of ever having to prospect. Through prospecting, you're presenting. The most powerful tool in presenting is getting them physically involved and commanding the flow of the presentation. Prospecting presenting is pretty easy, though. The two parts that most people don't know how to do is positioning value and dropping the price. Pricing and positioning value, the way that they perceive it. Oh, wow, I've never thought about it that way. That does make sense. Wow, well, maybe that would help us. I want to help them think differently, and I do that by positioning the value. And then pricing, the way that you actually explain the pricing. Not just, hey, this is what the price is. Like, when I drop the price, I'm like, yeah, they're going to do it. Like, I'm like laughing at them. If they said they wouldn't do it, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, typically at this point in the presentation, like, people have a pitcher of pink lemonade and like a full cup of ice. You know, like, I have an absolute conviction and certainty that they're going to do it because I led their hand through the process. And that's all it really is being able to create that decision. Yoshi.
Out of all the door-to-door jobs you've ever done, what brought you into sales specifically?
I got on a plane. So what happened was I three-peated as the most sales in the alarm industry in 2011, 12, and 13. My first 3 years in the alarm systems. And my third year came off being the top salesman, but I would constantly have to rebuild my team. So I'd have 20, 30 guys at the time. Then I'd go down to 10, then I have to rebuild it to 30, then I have to go down, then I have to rebuild it. And I was making unbelievable money. Like, I was earning $500,000 or more from the age of 22 till 34, right? And when you get to that sort of level, you can really change a lot of people's lives. For me, what happened was I was in a house in Wrightwood, California. That's where I was living at the time. I lived in this big mansion, and I was living out there with a couple of my reps, a couple of my friends, and I got a call from Elon Musk's cousin, Lyndon Rive, and they said, Taylor, we want to just meet you. We want to fly you up here and to San Francisco or San Mateo to our headquarters. And I got on the plane, and I met Lyndon and Peter Rive, Elon's cousins, and I saw something bigger than myself, and I made the decision there without even telling my team. I had like 20 guys. I came back and I said, guys, I'm moving back to Boston. I'm going to build something bigger than myself, and if you guys want to be a part of it, awesome. If you don't, then I completely understand, but this is the best situation for all of us, and we're going to make the move. Money is attracted to speed above all things. Money is attracted to speed above all things. I should tell Tyreek Hill that and make him pay me for that line, you know?
I got one more. So what you doing with an objection? Like, I don't want holes in my roof.
Yeah, they already have holes in their roof. That's not an objection. And watch my last YouTube video. He gives me that same one. The last YouTube video gives me that same thing. He's like, I don't want holes in my roof. Right? He's already got holes in his roof, you know? Question was back here. We'll come back to you next.
Yeah, just kind of mentioned it, like the positive shell.
Mm-hmm.
But when you catch yourself maybe in a bad attitude, bad mental state when you're out there, what's like, do you do breath work? Like, what's the kind of thing?
I just say like stupid lines to myself. Like, how many of you guys have ever made an emotional decision where your highs were too high, your lows get too low? Right? If you didn't raise your hand, please tell me the secret, because every single one of us has done that. Maybe some of you guys are just lazy. But the first thing I think about is, he who angers me controls me. He who angers you controls you. Right? I'm all about to get that emotional state. He who angers you controls me. You know what? Not going to win. See ya. Right? Thank you so much for treating me like a human being. Everyone's been so friendly. God bless. Right? Not going to let them win. Okay? Everybody write this word down. S T R E S S E D. What does that spell? Stress. How many of you have ever got stressed before? Now spell that backwards. What does it spell?
Desserts.
Desserts, right? Stress spelled backwards is desserts. It's not worth it. If I'm not having fun, it's not worth it. When I get stressed, I think of that line. Just a line I think about. Just helps me de-stress. Hey, stress spelled backwards is desserts. Not going to let you win. If I'm not having fun, it's not worth it. Those are little things that I do to trick my brain. You know, and the way that you think will lead to the words will lead to the emotion leads to the feelings lead to the judgments, and the judgments lead to the decisions that you make. All right, any other questions? We'll go to you next. We'll go right here.
I know a lot of the times when you're doing blitzes, like you're only out there for 2 days. So
Yep.
Signs of life is pretty much the holy grail at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now most of us we have a selected area.
Of course.
So when you were in the field selling full time, or somebody that is restricted to an area, like what would you recommend? Is it the same? Like, are you looking for signs of life?
It is pretty much the same. Like, even if I was assigned an area for, 30 days to work, I'm not knocking on every single door. Early in the day, what I'll do is I will spot knock. I will only knock I'll literally drive house to house from 10 to 12 if I need to. Whatever I need to do in a certain area. But sometimes I might not want to go and knock on every single... Early in the day, like I'm knocking houses without garages. That's what my strategy is. I hustle with strategy. So I can put myself in front of more people in a time period. The reason I don't go door to door to door to door, people need to stop knocking doors with no cars in the driveway or no signs of life. That doesn't mean if I see a door open or a light on and there's a garage, then I'm not going to knock it. But also if they have like some of these homes, especially where I work all over, I know they're a renter, you know what I mean? And why would I waste my time on doing something? Sometimes I might miss out an opportunity where people might be like, oh, that's not true. I've gotten a sale with a car in the garage. Yeah, I have too. But if I had the same technique and skill set as this guy over here, and we were the exact same, I wasn't better than you, you weren't better than me, and I can put myself in front of more people in a day, who's going to win? My goal is to have more conversations. If you were to say, what is this job? Your job is to have 25 conversations a day. That's what your goal is. Not to knock 100 doors. Your goal is to have 25 to 30 solid conversations a day where you can actually explain this process to people. When you get really good and you can go 3 doors and get into a home, if you take the average of the amount that I worked over, the last 2-day blitz, I had 3 failed credits, but I had 7 transactions that were all good, and 1 got DQ'd and 6 of them are in the process of getting installed. And that was in a 2-day period in Arizona, and people were like, Arizona's tough. Oh, this is going to be your toughest challenge. I'm like, bro, it's not a challenge because I compete against the utility company. I've got a stronger belief every single time when I go and knock on somebody's door that I can help them. And I think that people are able to read that. They are able to perceive me as the professional. They might not understand everything that I say, but they're like, he looks part, sounds the part, okay, yeah, we'll go to the next step. And that's kind of the way that my process works.
But just to follow up on that, after a couple days, you're noticing that the signs of life houses are the same houses you hit. What's your strategy after that?
I mean, if I'm not putting myself in front of people, and I'm out there all day, and I only talk to 3 people because 3 people are home, yeah, I'm going to probably try to extend the area that I work in. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, for me, I go to the last place door-to-door salesmen go. I go to the main roads. I go to the country. I'll drive 2.5 hours to a certain area if, no one's ever knocked it, or it's an area that's dead-end roads. That's what I specifically look for. But yeah, I mean, it's if I was trying to open this key with my house key and it wouldn't work and it wouldn't open, stop trying to open up, if you have the wrong key, it's not going to open the door. So for me, if I don't have, I don't know, I try to put myself in front of enough people as I can per day. And if I'm not putting myself in front of enough people, I move area. That's what I do. It might not be the answer people want to hear, but that's what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, out of all the accounts that you've sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about avoiding them to cancel in the process?
Yeah.
Or reverting an account that's already trying to cancel?
Oh, I'm really good at this. So there's a couple steps that I have. Keep in mind when I do these blitzes, I do not manage the accounts, right? I get paid a fee for my service, and the sales go under the company's name, and they manage the entire project. But there's a couple things that I would give you guys as advice that are really solid. This shit's worth money right here. Shit's valuable. So the first thing that I always do at the end of the sale is I always temperature check. And I ask them specific questions. So how are you guys feeling about all this so far? Are you guys pretty excited? Those are questions that I ask. If they're like, I don't know, then dude, you didn't sell it right. You fundamentally, you set yourself up for a cancel, right? So I ask those specific questions. And then I explain to them, like just for example, I'll go through it like, so, congratulations, you mentioned this was your first house?
Yeah.
How many years has it been that you guys actually, made the investment to actually own your home?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, man, that's awesome. And I don't know if you remember, like, when you went to the open house and, you went through the process of saying, like, yeah, we want to put in an offer on this house, and then they accepted it, and you're like, wow, this is what my life is going to be like. They accepted it, and then you actually went to do, like, the closing and everything. When you were, like, doing all that, like, and, you made that biggest investment to actually buy a home, were you, like, a little bit nervous when you made that decision? Like when you had to write the check and, you had to decide to actually shift from like a never-ending liability to having an asset, it was probably like a little bit nervous for you. So it's perfectly fine that you might feel that way right now. That's if they are, I'm not going to say that unless they're like, hey, I don't know about this, right? Then I'm bringing up that situation right there. But what I'm doing as well is I'm also, buyer's remorse is a real thing. It's a real thing. Like if you're like, oh, buyer's remorse isn't real, like, oh, you got cancels. Every single person gets cancels. If you don't have cancels, you're not selling hard enough. Zig Ziglar says the best salesmen have a 15 to 20% cancellation ratio. If you have under that, you're probably not selling hard enough. But what I do is, and this is nasty, is before I tell you it, the other thing that I do is I let the homeowner know every Friday or every Thursday I have a 2-hour window where I check in with them. No news is good news. That's what I always say. Just so you understand, no news is good news. But every Friday, I take the window from 6 to 8 to just to check in with you guys. If I was to give you a call every Friday, would it be better to call you closer towards 5 or closer towards 7, or would be text better? And every Friday, you just check in with them. Hey George, no news, just want to let you know. Blah, 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 you watched the Cowboys game yesterday, whatever. I'm on a text message relationship with the families that I serve. Another thing that most people don't do is in the house, I always save my phone number into their contacts, and I save their number into my contacts. Why would I do that? What happens when you get a call from a number you don't know, or a text? You don't answer it, or you don't respond. So I write Taylor Solar with the sun, right? And then that's how I, another little technique that I use to actually get these things to the finish line. I let them know that I'm going to contact them, once a week. Just no news is good news. Just check in on the project and let them know any updates throughout the process. But what I do, and you don't have to do it on every single sale, but the ones that you're like, I don't know, you call them back the next morning and you reach back for something you forgot to tell them. Hey, Junior. Hey, how are you? It's Taylor from yesterday with the solar. Hey, I wanted to reach out because I completely forgot to tell you there's an app that you'll be able to actually monitor your system from. Do you have an iPhone or an Android? Or I reach back for a benefit that I know that they liked. The reason I do that is because sometimes they might just have 1 or 2 questions or 3 questions. Right? So I might bring that up at the end of the process. Like, just so you understand, I've done this for so long that sometimes people tend to make this a much bigger decision than it really is. And they end up retreating back to the utility company because they had 1 or 2 questions that they came up that, maybe I didn't cover or maybe that you were unsure about. Now, if everything that I laid out on this piece of paper is exactly the way that it is, would you lean more towards being at the mercy of the power company or the independence of control and predictability? Okay, everything that I laid out on this piece of paper is exactly how it is. There is no more, there is no less. But if you do have any questions, you can feel free to call me. What usually we do is we leave the corporate number, but I'm going to leave you with my personal cell phone number. Just because customer service is very important to me, and I always go to bat for the families that I serve because I was the one that's helping you get involved with this program. So reaching back to them the next day and just giving them a call. Sometimes I get them something from Amazon, next day delivered to their house. I had this lady that she loved reading books. And I was telling her all about my wife and Peru and going to Iquitos and the jungle. And I was like, you have Amazon Prime, there's this really good movie. I forget what it was called, but it's like a movie when like they actually go explore South America for the first time. I was telling her all the details. She's like, that sounds so amazing. And I was like, you know what? And I ordered it off Amazon, a book, and it got same day delivered to her house the next day. And she's like, oh my gosh, thank you. Another lady that worked in sales, it bought her How to Master the Art of Selling. Sometimes small little things, like especially you close a big ass sale, like a 15 kilowatt or a 20 kilowatt, and you're like, I want to make sure this thing gets in. You want to know what you get them? A house plant. Sounds stupid, but you come back there with a plant that they can have, like you know, you get a $40, $30 plant, $20 plant from, you know, Walmart or something, and bring it by to them with a handwritten thank you card. Right? They're not going to cancel if you took that video with them, if you did everything else. Sometimes they do, though. I've had the most solid transactions where I'm like, there's no way they're going to cancel, and it cancels. I've also had sales where I'm like, bro, this one's not getting installed. I'm like, shit, I signed up a guy on a chicken coop in New Mexico, and like, he's like, oh yeah, that guy got installed last week. I'm like, damn, it was like 10 minutes on his chicken coop, you know what I mean? So it's just different buyers require different amounts of information, and you don't know what's gonna happen, but you focus on what's in your control, because when you put your energy outside of your control, you wear yourself out. So that's how I'd go on that one.
What was your biggest sacrifice that gave you absolute certainty?
I guess going back to like, risk is the down payment for success. You know, I left Massachusetts where I was from, and, you know, I wanted to become a professional snowboarder, and I broke my collarbone. And then, you know, like sacrifice, I guess, for a whole decade, dude. Like, I mean, I was 18 years old to like 28, and, you know, I'd meet a girl, like pretty girl or whatever, and I'm like, sorry, I'm emotionally unavailable. That's the way I put it, emotionally unavailable, right? And the reason I was emotionally unavailable was because I was so myopic. All I cared about was a scoreboard. My hobby was sales. My hobby was a scoreboard. And like, this was just like this game I was addicted to. How many of you guys ever played video games growing up, like really heavy? Who played heavy video games? Who played really heavy video games? All right, what was the really heavy video game that you played? All right. All right, so you guys played like that heavy gaming, right? Imagine if you took that level of wanting to do something into this job, right? Think about that. Like if I told you, what was your favorite game, somebody? If I told you, bro, you have to play Titanfall for 12 straight hours, yeah, that's... So let's go it again. You got to knock doors for 12 straight hours. I wanted to hear let's go right there, right? Let's go. That's where it's got to be. It's got to be like, what are you doing? I'm playing a video game out in the field. I earn money for it, you know?
I noticed that some of the stuff that the Douglas Edwards videos, that you use some of the, you know, phraseology from that. And so it's impressive to me that new information and you implemented it right away. Like, this is obviously a pretty inspiring thing. You're giving a lot of good information. What recommendation do you give for taking what's given here and implementing it so that it becomes part of who we are as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so there's 5 steps of being able to learn anything. It starts with impact. You need to be aware and alert. If you're sitting here checking your Instagram the whole time, not paying attention, you're probably not getting a lot. Like, not taking notes is like eating spaghetti with a spoon. You're going to get a lot on you, but you're not going to get much in you, okay? Once you're aware and alert and you're aware of the situation, you have the impact. The next step is repetition. You need to hear, read, write, and say something 6 times to gain 62% of the retention. So if this whole thing was on video, you would have to watch it over and over and over with a pen and a piece of paper, writing down all the sauce that I just gave you. Then you start to utilize the information to make it a natural part of you through utilization. You internalize so it is a natural part of you. And once you internalize something enough, then you reinforce it, and then it becomes a reflex. And those are called the 5 steps of the learning process. Now, I'll share one more story from J. Douglas Edwards. J. Douglas Edwards walks into a really nice suit store. He was looking for a nice suit, and he's always like looking at the cheap suits. He's like a 19, 20-year-old guy at this time, he says, and he walks over to a section that was like the rich people section just to look at it. And he's like, there's this one coat called the Harrison Tweed. And the salesman goes, hey, you check out that coat, try it on. I'll be back in 1 second, just give me 1 minute. And he walks away and he comes back with a cup of water. And he goes, you want to see how you know that Harrison Tweed is real? Let me show you. And he pours the water on the side of the coat and he goes, smell that. What does that smell like? He's like, it smells like scotch. He goes, that's it, scotch. Because they actually, you know, whatever, make these things in scotch to actually make the leather better, to keep it more soft. He's like, you better bet I believe that. You better bet I bought that friggin' coat. And for the first 2 weeks, all I did was go up to people and pour water on it and be like, hey, you want to see how you know it's real? What does that smell like? Because he realized he wanted it. You have to understand the buyers want to do things through their eyes. And going back to what I explained with the blind salesman, you need to be able to see the sale through their eyes. You need to see what they want. The needs formula. What do they have now? What do they enjoy most about what they have now? If they could alter one situation, what would it be? Who's the decision maker and what is the solution? That's the art of qualification. So, you know, Brad is a part of my Knockstar United program, which is my inner circle coaching program. And, you know, he's one of our top learners. Constantly on the university, constantly training, you know, constantly on the YouTube, constantly implementing these things. And the more that you're able to learn and really dedicate yourself to this craft, it's kind of like when you stop training or you don't do it at all, you don't realize how important training is. But when you're in the zone of training and then you stop training, then you realize how important that training was. And training is not supposed to be easy, guys. You know, training is like going to the weight room for the athlete, or, you know, the lawyer that goes to the library to study law, or the doctor that's studying medicine. Like, training is not supposed to be easy, but it's one of the most important things that you can do if you're real serious about your profession. Cool. Any other questions?
Your top 5 book recommendations?
Top 5 book recommendations? I would give you anything by J. Douglas Edwards, or I would give you Tom Hopkins' How to Master the Art of Selling. I would give you Secrets of the Great Rainmakers by Jeffrey Fox. Give you Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. I would give you Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I would also give you How to Master the Art of Selling 2, which is going to be released soon. You'll see, you'll see. All right, any other questions?
How do you go about them saying that they're gonna move from their house right now?
That's the easiest one, bro. I got a nasty one for that. Nasty, nasty. We call it murder. All right. So give me it.
So yeah, we were interested in solar, but we're actually gonna move in about 6 months.
Oh, you're moving in 6 months? Yes. That's exactly why you should do it. Have you ever heard of the term flippers? Like the people that buy a home and then they like fix it up or whatever, and then they resell it and make a profit?
Yes.
So what these modern day flippers are doing is they're buying a home, they're putting the solar on the roof to gain that control and predictability. Now keep in mind, if we were to pick your home, you would be completely exempt of all the upfront costs. And then when you go to sell the house in 6 months, what you're going to want to do is tell your realtor to fly a drone to actually showcase the new technology. And they just want the appreciation of the home. So a lot of the families, like, I don't know if you know George, the one on like Bamboo Court, he was pretty smart about it. But what he told me was if he could get added home value and do something to actually improve the home before he sold it, he'd want to take advantage of that rather than waiting to give it to somebody else. Same if I'm doing a loan in that situation, I heavily go back to the tax credit. But if they're moving, I refer to an analogy of flippers. And that's the way that I do it, and that's what usually works for me. You can't get every single person that says they're moving. If they're like, I'm moving in 2 months, I'll still say, hey, that's exactly why you should do it. But some people are like, we just want to wait for the next person to deal with it. And, well, some do, some don't, someone's waiting, you know. If they don't want to do it, then I just give it to the neighbor. That's what my mindset is. But the one that's worked for me most with flippers, with moving is, have you ever heard of the term flippers? What these modern day flippers are doing especially if I'm doing the loan, I explain that they claim the tax incentive or they gain that independence from not being at the mercy of all these ridiculous rate increases. But that's the one I go to on that.
Yeah, before we do some takeaways, could we have a live presentation on the door?
Yeah, sure. Who's going to be the customer?
Bro. Bree, you gotta say not interested like 10 times, bro. Make it hard, bro.
These guys already tried to be hard on me.
This guy failed.
He's like, I'm going to be hard on you.
You gotta revenge Zay. You gotta get revenge for Zay.
Dun, dun, dun. Let me just make sure it's a sale first. Hold on.
I'm Indian now. My name is David.
That's fine. I have Patel pricing for you. Dun, dun, dun. See, I would have like no confidence doing this without this stuff. So I'm just telling you guys, I'm not here to sell you slicks, but you're doing yourself a heavy disservice if you don't get these slicks. They're $100 on the website. And if you don't, Yoshi might have a couple extras. No? You're out, Yoshi? Yoshi just bought all of them from me. Reselling over here. He's got like a buy and resell program. One.
What was the book you recommended?
Secrets of the Great Rainmakers. Secrets of the Great Rainmakers by Jeffrey Fox, yeah. All right.
I'll be recording. I know none of y'all ever done 74 sales in 30 days. Turned a couple times.
Whoa, where'd you come from? Came from the Cambodia.
You better get this door-to-door salesman off your staff.
Yeah, right. This is a sale.
I'm gonna call the police on you.
Hi, sir. My name's Taylor. All right, so this is a done deal. They were already talking about it. This would be ridiculous for them not to do it, bro. They get absolutely hammered with sun. Dude, this guy's pissed, bro, because his wife just leaves the electric bill. Dude, the kids. Dude, this is a sale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yo, man, be quick, man. I'm in here cooking. What do you want?
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, you're the homeowner here, correct?
Yeah, but what do you want?
Yeah, I'll cut to the chase, man. I don't know if you're upset. I'll pretty much just give you the short version today. This is 685 River Road.
Yeah, but how do you get my information? Like, what?
Yeah, so it's like a little bit different. I think we're getting like a little bit too far ahead of ourselves, and I might not even be able to help you. But did you guys already receive the electric statement from PG&E that stated do not pay?
Do not pay what?
Yeah, for the PG&E account.
What, like, what, my account?
Yeah, you guys have PG&E here for the electricity, right?
But I'm saying, who are you? Like, what do you want?
Yeah, so my name is Taylor McCarthy. The reason I'm coming by is like a little bit different. I'll pretty much cut to the chase and give you the short version. The reason that I'm here is because a lot of families are starting to receive the statements from PG&E that said do not pay. The reason why I was showing you your location, and this isn't a sales process. I know it's a heartbreaker. I know you guys really wanted to buy a vacuum cleaner.
Like I said, man, can you be quick, man?
Yeah. I'm going to cut to the chase, man. But if you don't give me a chance to explain it, then you're not going to be involved with this program. What I'm showing you is the whole backside of the roof gets absolutely hammered in sun. If you notice the drones
Is
above
this
the...
about solar or something?
So it used to be about solar. Now it's just whether or not you were paid properly. And if you've already received the statement that said do not pay, then I can't even help you. The people that put up the windmills, that put up the solar, they did not win the lottery. These people did not take money out of their checking account. It's just they introduced the new technology. When it comes to solar, it's a lot more low profile. So we've had so many inquiries, but the main reason that's deterred people from getting...
you're trying to sell me solar?
No, I haven't picked the home yet. The way it works is we would utilize a few guys as reference points for what we call project alchemy, where the main reason that's deterred so many people from going solar, and you're probably sitting there and like, you obviously have a reason for saying that.
Yeah, because it's like you guys just keep coming every fucking week, like once.
Yeah,
two,
no
three
problem.
times. I'm tired.
The cut to the chase.
What's going on?
The cut to the chase version is you want to buy anything, right?
Right. Like,
Okay, and you're not going to cancel the PG&E account, correct?
Yeah.
So what I'm proposing, the cut and dry of it, is utilizing your roof as a power plant to produce the power on site to eliminate all the ridiculous fees and surcharges. Because I understand you're upset, and I have empathy for you, sir, because you probably have a lot of people come to your door.
Right, and then you're still taking all of my time.
Well, I apologize, man. I wouldn't be here if upper management didn't specifically have me put together the report for this location. Like I said, when I put together the design,
Hold on, man. 1 second. Let me go cut the oven off, man. Because it seems like you're going to take a lot of my time.
No, it's going to take 2 minutes, but go ahead. Yeah, totally understand, man. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. I am going to give you the short version. All I really do is I create a chart to show you both situations. Unless you were thinking about canceling the PG&E account, all I really do is show you an apples-to-apples situation. The biggest questions that I get from families, and obviously you've had a lot of people approach you, so I have a lot of empathy for you, but like this is number 3, the biggest question is, what is this going to cost me? You're already paying for it. The PG&E account is continuing to nickel and dime us. If I could not take the money that you give to PG&E and redirect it into a piggy bank where you have control and predictability, we can't even do it. So all I do is I fill out this piece of paper. Do you know roughly, like ballpark, what you guys spend a month for the power? Like ballpark?
Yeah, about $350.
$350 on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis? I'm talking about monthly.
Yeah, $350.
$350, that must be like your heart attack bill in the summer. What about your average?
No, that's actually one of my lowest bills, like right now, because it's wintertime.
So what is the bill in the summer?
Around like $450, $500.
Okay, so that $450, $500, how many years have you guys lived here in the house?
7 years.
7 years. So it's not like you leave the lights on all day. It's just every time the meter goes tick, tick, what's happening is they're charging you more per kilowatt. All I'm proposing is utilizing this portion of the roof as a power plant where you produce it on site and you're no longer buying those kilowatts from the utility company. What's the main reason you pick PG&E?
What you mean?
Like what? Like 7 years ago, I don't know if you moved the furniture in yourself or somebody else did, and you called PG&E and you probably just turned on the power because that was your only option.
Right.
But 7 years ago, yeah, but like let's just say hypothetically, 7 years ago when you moved into the home, you called the utility company and you said, hey, I need to turn on my power at 518 River Road. And they said, yeah, that's fine, but we need to send a representative out to your house. And that representative laid out 2 options for you. One would be a utility bill that they could raise at any time, and you'd be upwards towards these $400 or $500 bills. Or if you could have the ability to produce it all on site, and then the whole goal that I'd try to get you to is all these ridiculous fees and surcharges, we would completely wipe them out. Because you're paying so much money to have the power delivered from the house.
So basically right now you're just proposing that you're
No. I haven't. I have not picked the home yet. It's a little bit more selective than that. You know, the average home in California puts well over $60,000 back into their pocket and eliminates all these ridiculous fees and surcharges. The way that it works is we go over these questions. They're called can we pay questions. This would ultimately determine whether or not we would pick your home. Those are like the main reasons that people go solar, but what you have to understand is this process, you go to the back of the line. There's 3 specific check marks we need to obtain. The first one being structural. Do you know what percentage of your roof has any sort of shading from the trees?
I don't have any trees, but you're telling me you're going to get on my roof today?
I don't go on anybody's roof, man. I'm scared to go on roofs. No, I'm not going on the roof, brother. I'm just the first step of the process. All I'm going to do is show you the apples to apples comparison. So, like, it's not a long, drawn-out process. We can take all the emotion out of this and just see if it's a logical situation for you. But the whole goal is how I can take you from the red to the blue. from the mercy of the power company to having that control and predictability.
Like I told you, I'm in here cooking though, so like.
Yeah. What I'll do is
As far as like, I'm sorry to just cut you off. Like,
no
it's already
problem.
been about 5 minutes. What do you need me to do so I can get you off my door?
So I am gonna have the report completed. If this is something you don't want to partake in, it's perfectly fine. We can just give it to one of the neighbors. All I really do is show you the report. My question to you is simple. If I was to actually show you the report, would you look at it or would it be something you rip up? Because I already put it all together, and all I really want to be able to do is show you the last 4% of the design. You said the average bill was about $350?
No, that's my lowest bill.
So what's the
You're
average?
not even listening to
Well,
me.
you told me your average was $350.
No, I told you my lowest bill was $350.
All right.
My highest was $550.
So this is not a sales process, sir. You're starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. Ultimately, yeah. Then you don't have to do it. I'm not a dentist. I've never tried to pull any teeth before. At the end of the day, all I really do is show you a way that I could help your situation. If I go through this process with you, man, you would do it. Okay, but the hardest part of my job is timing.
Okay, so you got time right now. I already gave you time.
I have the design. All right, man. So I have the design complete. All I need to do is show you two things. I show you where the panels would be laid out and what your bill would have been last month.
Okay, so you're gonna get that ready now? Or
yeah, I already texted the design because you told me the average.
What do you need me to do?
What I need you to do is if there's a small corner of a table, what I'm going to do is just fill out this chart. So you said the average was 400?
Yeah.
Okay, so 400, which is similar to $4,800 a year. You get 100% of your power. There's no sort of added home value. There's no tax credit. You're seeing 8 to 10% inflation. That $4,800 that you give to the utility company in 1 year, if there was never inflation, most people only live in a home for 3 to 5 years, but that's $48,000 plus all the inflation. That's almost paying $150,000 because we can both agree the utility bill is 100% interest. If you move, they're not giving you any of that money back. So I apologize that I'm so persistent, sir. And like I said, I have empathy for you because I understand so many people come and knock on your door. But what I'm doing is a little bit different. I know I can help you. If I go through the process with you, I'm going to challenge you to look for every reason this does not make sense. And if you identify it, don't do it.
Okay.
But if I can show you every single reason why you would actually benefit from the program, you go to the back of the line. We'd obtain those first 3 check marks. Once we obtain those, we'd schedule an install. Then we'd inspect it. We'd install it, inspect it, and turn the system on. Sun goes up, bills go down.
All this sounds good, but what do I have
So let's get to the brass tacks. What does the design look? What does your number would have been last month? If there's like a small corner of a table, actually, do you need me to take off my shoes?
Yeah, man, just come in.
All right, perfect. Boy, great customer, right? That's how you're gonna have that. Hey, that's how it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great example of how homeowners are, and you know that's the same exact way that I would handle a situation, you know, with a homeowner. So, what are some takeaways that you guys have? You see, he wanted to be hard, but it doesn't matter because I got way too many techniques.
Match his energy.
Yeah, match the energy. Keep your cool. Take it away. Blame upper management. Control. Persistence. Right? You notice how I said I have empathy for you? And I have empathy for you. That's a good line. Another couple things you notice when he's like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm like, I'm walking backwards, right? I'm like talking, I'm like this. Right? I might be looking over here. I might be coming into here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people are like wicked jerks, and it's like, guess what? I might not get the sale. I'll go to the next sale, but I kind of get the sale because I'm the one that has my attitude up here rather than letting it get down to the floor. But yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
I think people's attempt is to try to get you frazzled, try to get you to talk faster, or try to get you like emotional about it, and you just stayed even keel the whole time.
Clarity. You notice the clarity of my voice, the repetition, the energy, the belief, and the service. He's a great customer, though. Most people are like, you know, like this guy, he's like, I'm going to be hard on you. And at the end of it, he's like, yeah, come on in. I was like, bro, that wasn't hard.
You sold me. You got me.
All right. Any other feedback, takeaways?
Let's get a 2-clap for Taylor. Let's get some takeaways. We haven't heard yet. Let's go, John.
You got water?
Which one is a lot? John told me now. I forgot. There's like 100 right now.
Good shit, Bray.
else? Who's got a takeaway? Zach, what's the takeaway? What's out?
I think what it really comes down to is the conviction, right? It's knowing that you're the best product, and if you truly believe in this product, that's how I don't feel. I know that you do, so don't do it down. Just keep it simple like that.
Yeah, having a demeanor of like, I really don't care if you do this. If you want to be a part of it, great. If not, it really doesn't make a difference to me. You know I can help you, you know. Like, just to kind of like help me understand, Pri, are you guys like trying to justify a way to pay more for your electricity? That's a good line.
I like how I can really feel that you can help.
Let's get some feedback from Pri. You were the homeowner.
I just like how fast he was with it. Like, you know, I'm of course a homeowner that do solar, so
Yep.
I'm doing it that quick with you too. But how fast he was reacting,
That's just from a reflex, guys. You might be able to see that and be like overwhelmed by it, but it's from 17 years of perfecting my craft and, you know, just trying to get better every single day, every single week. And I'm always being innovative and creative. I'm a selling sales trainer. You know, I'm a selling sales trainer. And, you know, I'm really passionate about what I do. The definition of passion is anger and love. I love that definition. But I'm very passionate about what I do. And the reason why is because I know I can make an impact on people, and if I don't do that, I'm being selfish. So thank you guys so much for having me. One more takeaway, and I'm going to turn it over to Junior.
Yeah, it's kind of simple. You were like ready to walk away before they were.
Yeah.
Kind of like what happened to bring you back in.
Yeah, this isn't like pulling teeth. So this isn't a sales process. You're actually starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. Right? I said it first, baby. You said it second. All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to turn it back over to Junior.
Let's get Chewbacca Taylor.
Thanks.
All right, guys.